I'm Raymond Cho, Ontario's Minister for Seniors and Accessibility. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to join you in celebrating the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. People from all around the world, from all ethnic, cultural, religious backgrounds, can celebrate the guiding principles of Gandhi, that truth and nonviolence can change the world. One of my favorite quotes from Gandhi is that where there's a love, there's a life. I encourage you to keep the legacy of this great man alive in your heart, in your daily lives. Each day is an opportunity to show others your love and to help lead by the example you set. This is your opportunity to be an heir to Gandhi and to pay forward the legacy he has imparted to us. Thank you.
Mahatma Gandhi once said, "Nonviolence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind." October 2nd marks both the birthday of Gandhi and the International Day of Nonviolence. We honor his contributions as leader of the Indian independence movement and pioneer of the philosophy and strategy of nonviolence. Gandhi's actions serve as a guiding philosophy to overcome injustice, climate change, modern slavery, and many, many other ills that affect mankind. The significance of Gandhi's personal and political journey showed how to advance freedom with equality through nonviolence. His quest was to secure a global culture of peace, tolerance, and nonviolence, values the United Nations strives to uphold and advance. Gandhi was not alone. Others were inspired by his actions. We stand together to all make a difference and build a better future for all of us.
દક્ષિણ આફ્રિકાથી સ્વદેશ એટલે કે ભારતમાં ગાંધીજી આવ્યા તે પછી ભારતમાં તેમણે સૌથી પહેલો આશ્રમ એ અમદાવાદ ખાતે કોચરબ આશ્રમ સ્થાપ્યો. નામ રાખ્યું સત્યાગ્રહ આશ્રમ. પણ મોટે ભાગે બધા પુસ્તકો અને લોકોના જીભે કોચરબ આશ્રમ તરીકે જ પ્રસિદ્ધ છે. આ આશ્રમ શરૂ થયો ત્યારે 20-25 વ્યક્તિઓ જ હતી, પણ ગાંધીજીનું એટલું બધું આકર્ષણ હતું કે જોતજોતામાં તો સંખ્યા 40, 50, 60, 80 સુધી પહોંચી ગઈ. આ આશ્રમ નાનો પડવા લાગ્યો એટલે સાબરમતી આશ્રમ ખસેડ્યો. પહેલે વર્ષ ગાંધીજી આઝાદી વિશે આ આશ્રમ તરફથી કાંઈ બોલ્યા નથી, કારણ કે ગોપાલકૃષ્ણ ગોખલે, જેમને ગાંધીજી રાજકીય ગુરુ ગણતા હતા, તેમણે કહ્યું હતું કે 1 વર્ષ સુધી આઝાદીની વાત ન કરવી, પણ સમસ્યાઓ અને સમાધાન શોધવા. એટલે શરૂઆતમાં ગાંધીજી 1 વર્ષ સુધી અહીંયા આઝાદી સિવાયની એટલે સર્વધર્મ સંભાવ, સ્ત્રી પુરુષ સમાનતા, 11 વ્રતો, અસ્વાદના પ્રયોગો એ બધા કોચરબ આશ્રમમાં થયેલા છે. આજે આ આશ્રમમાં ગાંધીજીએ આપેલ રચનાત્મક કાર્યક્રમની વિવિધ પ્રવૃત્તિઓ ચાલે છે, જેવી કે રક્તપિત્ત સેવા, નઈ તાલીમ, ખાદી ગ્રામોદ્યોગ, ચરખા પ્રવૃત્તિ, મહિલા વિકાસ પ્રવૃત્તિ, કોમી એકતા, દારૂબંધી, પ્રૌઢ શિક્ષણ વગેરે અનેક કાર્યક્રમો થાય છે. અને આ આશ્રમને આજે 105 વર્ષ થયા. અનેક લોકો આ ગાંધીજીના યાદગાર પવિત્ર ભૂમિ પર મુલાકાતે આવે છે અને એક ગાંધીજીના સમયનો અનુભવ લઈને જાય છે.
Namaskar to all of you. Today is 2nd October, which is the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma, as we all know, Mahatma Gandhi was a great leader. It's not only for India but across the globe. That is why the UN General Assembly has decided to observe this day as a World Non-Violence Day, and that is how since 2007 the world is observing the 2nd October, the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi as a World Non-Violence Day. So whenever and wherever there is a surge and there is a urge for evolved human being, will remain continue. The need for Gandhi and Gandhian thoughts will remain relevant. I think human race will need Gandhi for in search of evolved human being. If you look at the message the Gandhi I don't have to tell any message because Gandhi himself mentioned that my life is my message. So whoever wants to know more about Gandhi, who wants to learn about Gandhi, they can go through for various means where they can understand about Gandhi. If we look at the major philosophy that what Gandhi has preached and teach to all human beings, the non-violence, he mentioned that eye for eye make the whole world blind, and if we look at the armament or the race of armament, the relevance of non-violence is increasing day by day. The second thing is the trusteeship, trusteeship for everything, my relationship with nature, my relationship with my organization, relationship with my any possession or my corporate, so I am not the owner of that entity, but I am a trustee. That was a very, very different angle to look at the whole thing, which Gandhi has called trusteeship. The third thing is the vows. Vows means the virtues. It is a base of basically the Indian philosophy, but in major world religion we can see those values: the truth, non-violence, fearlessness, non-stealing. These are the values which one has to internalize in their life, and it is important. Gandhi has said that first, that you have to evolve your inner environment, which help to improve the external environment, and that is how the vows, the 11 vows which Gandhi, is extremely important. So today, if we remember Gandhi, these three, four things are very important to know or learn.
The National Gandhi Museum at Rajghat provides unique experience of Mahatma Gandhi's life, his work and his philosophy. In this museum, Gandhiji's life is presented through his relics, photographs, audiovisuals, literature and artworks. Entrance gallery and photo gallery. More than 300 photographs related to Gandhiji from his early childhood till his death are displayed in the photo gallery. It also contains Gandhiji's originals, the relics like spectacles, microscope, pen, watches, sandals, books, diaries, walking stick used during Dandi March and many more. The commemorative gallery, the Remembering the Great Soul. In this gallery, the photographs of Gandhiji's last journey, commemorative stamps released in honor of Gandhi by different countries, Indian currencies, citations are displayed. One of the precious gallery in our museum is Martyrdom Gallery. Gandhiji's blood-stained shawl and dhoti, one of the bullets which killed Gandhiji, the pocket watch with him at the last moments of his life are displayed in this gallery. The artistic expressions of Gandhiji. The portraits of Gandhiji through various mediums by different artists are displayed here. National Gandhi Museum has a rare and extensive collection of nearly 45,000 books and journals. It includes collections of weekly journals edited by Gandhiji, photocopies of Gandhiji's correspondence with world leaders, digital copies of books and journals. It is a unique museum in the world, in a sense that it was constructed only by the contribution of the people of India. Because Gandhi had a great faith on the power of the people, and the museum demonstrates the power of the people. Whenever you find time, whenever you visit Delhi, kindly visit our National Gandhi Museum. It is our human heritage museum.
Warm greetings to you all. Established in 1990, the Gandhi Information Center has been freely available for education. It has more than 100 members at home and abroad, amongst them well-known scientists, artists, and authors such as Dr. Arun Gandhi, a grandson of Mahatma Gandhi, Count Serge Tolstoy, one grandson of Count Leo Tolstoy, and Dr. Sushila Nair, personal physician and secretary of Mahatma Gandhi. The Gandhi Information Center became well known all over the world on account of the distribution of the Manifesto Against Conscription and the Military System. This manifesto revives attention to two manifestos signed by Gandhi, Einstein, Buber and Freud against the military training of youth. In the meantime, this manifesto has been translated into 25 languages and has been signed by more than 200 outstanding personalities from over 30 different countries. Among them are, for instance, Ela Gandhi, a granddaughter of Mahatma Gandhi, Count Serge Tolstoy, the artists Pete Seeger, Luciano Pavarotti, and Ravi Shankar. Our main project between 2008 and 2020 has been the creation of 21 exhibitions on the history of the non-violent resistance concept. For example, Leo Tolstoy and the Doukhobors, Conscientious Objection, commemorating the Russian writer Leo Tolstoy's death centenary 2010-2011. You are invited to visit the digitized exhibition online. We created this exhibition for the occasion of Leo Tolstoy's death centenary on 20th November 2010. The panels are neither ordered chronologically according to Tolstoy's biography, nor are they a retelling of the Doukhobors' history. A timeline of their history, however, has been included at the end of the exhibition to contextualize their journey. The selected quotes by Leo Tolstoy and the Doukhobor Peter Verigen clearly show the fundamental importance of activism against military and war, as well as a plea for conscientious objection by the late Leo Tolstoy. During the creation of this exhibition, we collaborated with the eminent Doukhobor historians Larry A. Ewashen, Doukhobor Discovery Center, Castlegar, British Columbia, Kuzma J. Tarasov, Ottawa, Canada, Andrei Konovalov, Arizona, USA, and Jonathan J. Kalmakov, Doukhobor Genealogy website. The profound significance of the Doukhobors for Mahatma Gandhi can be seen in the three following passages from his writings. The Doukhobors of Russia offered non-cooperation, and a handful though they were, their grievances so deeply moved the civilized world that Canada offered them a home where they form a prosperous community. In India, instances can be given by the dozen, in which in little principalities the Rajats, tenants, when deeply grieved by their chiefs, have cut off all connection with them and bent them to their will. I know of no instance in history where well-managed non-cooperation has failed. Non-cooperation, which involves violence, may succeed or fail, but that non-cooperation, which requires nothing but self-sacrifice, can end only in success. It simply passes my understanding how anyone can oppose such non-cooperation. For the man who resorts to non-cooperation of the divine type will not resume cooperation till he gets justice. The Germans employed the non-cooperation of armed conflict, and so, when defeated, they surrendered. The Doukhobors in Russia employed unarmed non-cooperation, and therefore met with no defeat. When it became impossible for them to continue to live in Russia, they left the country rather than submit to its oppressive rulers. Today, they live as a highly respected community in Canada. When an individual employs non-cooperation, the individual wins. When a community employs it, the community wins. Finally, and owing to his reading of Leo Tolstoy, Gandhi highlighted the significance of the Doukhobors in his first 1928 autobiography entitled Satyagraha in South Africa. Jesus Christ indeed has been acclaimed as the Prince of Passive Resistors, but I submit in that case passive resistance must mean Satyagraha and Satyagraha alone. There are not many cases in history of passive resistance in that sense. One of these is that of the Doukhobors of Russia cited by Tolstoy. The phrase passive resistance was not employed to denote the patient suffering of oppression by thousands of devout Christians in the early days of Christianity. I would therefore class them as satyagrahis, and if their conduct be described as passive resistance becomes synonymous with satyagraha. For more than a century, Toronto has related to the tradition of Tolstoy and Gandhi. It all started with publisher William Bryce, who in 1890 published the first edition of the groundbreaking work on bread labor. Under the title Labor, the Divine Command, Count Leo Tolstoy made known, augmented and edited the suppressed book of the peasant writer Timofey Bondarev, translated by Mary Kruger. This book, until then, had been interdicted by the Tsar of Russia, and the young student Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi might have read it during his student days in London. Nowadays, Toronto is the place of the Tolstoy Studies Journal, published by the Tolstoy Society of North America, linked with the Center for Russian and East European Studies and the Department of Slavic Languages and Literatures at the University of Toronto. The greatest supporter of the Doukhobors was an honoured citizen of Toronto, James Mavor, a Scottish-Canadian economist who served as a professor of political economy at the University of Toronto from 1892 to 1923. He played a key role in resettling Doukhobor religious dissidents from the Russian Empire to Canada. He corresponded with notable Russian scientists, former prince and anarchist thinker Peter Kropotkin, who at that time lived in London, and who proposed that Doukhobor peasantry, numbering several thousand people, be settled in Canada. We wish you great joy during your vegetarian commemoration event for Mahatma Gandhi's birthday, and we are looking forward to fruitful future cooperation and friendship. Together with Mr. Christian Bartov, president of the Gandhi Information Center, I have written this text on the occasion of Mahatma Gandhi's birth anniversary in the year 2020. I have been a board member of the Gandhi Information Center for years, and I'm a political scientist for peace education and the history of pacifism at the Free University, Berlin.
Namaste from the Gandhi Memorial Center in Washington, D.C. in the United States. I bring you greetings as director of the Gandhi Memorial Center for this year's Gandhi Jayanti observance for the 151st birth anniversary observance. Though we face such unusual times with great challenges, it is an opportunity for us, even if we do not meet in person for Gandhi Jayanti, to still offer a personal message. The Gandhi Jayanti observance here at the Gandhi Memorial Center will be unlike any that have ever been. And yet, the consistency of that universal message of the Mahatma, that his life was his message. His life filled with selfless service and strictly adhering to truth above all else, and to live non-violently with the very principles and foundation of ahimsa rooted in the soul, but in fullness of expression and meaning. It is love. For this year, for Gandhi Jayanti around the globe, the messages of the Mahatma we know as timeless, as eternal, as universal. Even Gandhiji himself explained that these truths are as old as the hills, yet as difficult as the challenges in every clime and time for all of humanity. To live by these ideals is what we remember in the words of Mahatma Gandhi. And from the Upanishads, it is the razor's edge. It is a very difficult path to hold to, and yet it is the highest aspiration of the soul of every being. For our Gandhi Jayanti, I welcome all of the compassionate and idealistic dreams for a message that we will share here in Washington, D.C., of Mahatma Gandhi and the village of my dreams.
Welcome to Eternal Gandhi, Shashwat Gandhi, located at Gandhi Smriti, also known as Birla House in New Delhi. Eternal Gandhi is one of the world's first digital multimedia museums on Mahatma Gandhi's life and deeds. This is Gandhiji on radio. In this installation, we can turn the dial and hear Gandhiji's speeches. Mahatma Gandhi had spent 6 years and 10 months in prison during his lifetime. This installation enables you to recall the scenes of Gandhi's life in prison through 3 interactive pods. This is called E-Harmonium. In this installation, the keys of the harmonium trigger off the playback of Raghupati Raghav Rajaram, the song of interfaith. Raghupati xylophone. It takes xylophone and transforms it into a musical instrument. Each note of the xylophone can be recognized digitally and allows for the creation of a digital mosaic mural. At the heart of the museum, it stands as Gandhiji's pillar of truth, the Stambh. The turning of the prayer wheel triggers off a visual representation of Mahatma Gandhi's 11 vows stipulated for the Satyagrahis. The ashram story. The interactive pillars play back videos associated with ashram life. Kaleidoscope is an exhibit where you can find stories of Gandhi composed by children by peeping in. Here you can spin the e-charkha to learn about their multi-divisional role in Gandhi's Sarvodaya and Swadeshi movements. Shadow charkha. Charkha casts its shadow on the display table when you touch it. The shadow morphs into a quote of Mahatma Gandhi. Design of route. In this installation, you can pick up the salt from urn to understand the route of the historical Dandi March timeline browser. The act of walking alongside a wall is transformed into a retrieval device. It unfolds images and events from Mahatma Gandhi's life. Apart from the exhibits and installation, the museum houses Gandhiji's room, where he used to stay while in Delhi. He had spent his last days in this very house. The museum is designed keeping children at the central focus. Houston is soon going to host the only edition of Eternal Gandhi in USA. The mission of this museum is to provide field trips to children to this multimedia exhibition.
Namaste. I am delighted to have this opportunity to honor one of the greatest souls of the 20th century. We in South America are living proof that the Mahatma had global influence in countries where he never visited. I was born in Guyana and boast that I was alive at the same time as Gandhi. And even though many in India today may still think that it is a country in Africa, his emissary, Reverend Charlie Andrews, visited Guyana in 1929 to observe and report on the conditions of indentured servants there. He worked with Gandhi in South Africa, as people may recall, when he was sent there by Gokhale to assist Gandhi. But he also examined the conditions of indentured servants in many other countries where the British had sent the children of Bharat. His report to Congress and to Gandhi was in part responsible for the end of what was described as a new form of slavery which existed in Guyana from May 5th, 1838 up to 1917. We feel indebted to Gandhi for he continued his interest in the children of Bharat even after he left South Africa. Secondly, his leadership in the road to Indian independence inspired the formation of political parties in a majority of the colonies, not just in the British Empire, all pursuing self-rule from their colonial masters. We all need to make a positive changes in this world. It is my view that we can do so by promoting the life and message of Gandhi. It is this belief that inspired me to initiate the Mahatma Gandhi Scholarship at McMaster University in Ontario, Canada, and to write a book called Mohandas K. Gandhi, Thoughts, Words, Deeds. In Guyana, the only English-speaking country in South America, there are statues to him, and we're trying to get streets named after him. If you travel anywhere in South America, you will find organizations in his name. I was quite privileged to visit Gandhi's ashram this year and also to trace the salt march up to Dundee Beach. If we are going to prevent the prediction of Einstein from becoming true, we together have to break down the barriers of world peace. My name is Ram Sahadeo. I can be reached at ramjihindu@rogers.com. Take care. Thank you. Namaste.
नमस्ते। सत्य और अहिंसा सालों से चले आ रहे हैं, उसमें मुझे कुछ नया नहीं कहना है। अहिंसा वो सिर्फ शारीरिक अहिंसा की बात नहीं है, पर मन और वचन से भी किसी को दुख नहीं देना, वो सच्ची अहिंसा है। अगर हम किसी के बारे में बुरा सोचते भी है तो वो भी एक प्रकार की हिंसा है। और इसलिए अहिंसा के पालन करने के लिए हमें एक दूसरे से प्रेम करना पड़ेगा, तभी हमारा एक दूसरे से आपस में वैर झेर नहीं होगा, दुश्मनावट नहीं होगी, शत्रुता नहीं होगी, और तभी हम प्रेम कर पाएंगे। और प्रेम करेंगे तो भी उसके बारे में बुरा नहीं सोचेंगे, और तभी अहिंसा का पालन होगा। इतना ही नहीं, अगर हम जरूरत से ज़्यादा कमाई कर लेते हैं या ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा किसी भी चीज़ का संग्रह करते हैं, तो भी वो हम दूसरे का हिस्सा हम ले रहे हैं, तो वो भी एक प्रकार की हिंसा है। तो सामाजिक व्यवस्था में इस प्रकार से हर चीज की, अगर वो पैसे की कमाई हो, आर्थिक व्यवस्था हो, वो सब में किसी को नुकसान ना हो, किसी का बुरा ना हो, ऐसा सोचकर की गई आर्थिक और सामाजिक व्यवस्था ही सही प्रकार की अहिंसा है। अगर हम किसी चीज का विरोध कर रहे हैं या किसी चीज के लिए लड़त कर रहे हैं, जैसे मैं कर रहा था, उसमें भी हम व्यक्ति का विरोध नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम व्यवस्था का विरोध कर रहे हैं। सो व्यक्ति के साथ हमें प्रेम ही रखना है, और हर विरोध का, हर लड़त का जो साधन है वो भी अहिंसक होना चाहिए। हमारी लड़त और हमारे विरोध के कारण किसी का नुकसान ना हो, किसी का बुरा ना हो, ये भी हमें सोचना चाहिए। ये भी अहिंसा का ही एक हिस्सा है। वैसे ही हम जो भी चीज का उपभोग कर रहे हैं, खास करके प्रकृति का उपभोग, प्राकृतिक स्रोतों का उपभोग, पानी, हवा, जंगल, नदी, ये सब चीजों का उपभोग भी हम जरूरत से ज्यादा करते हैं, तो वो हम प्रकृति पर हिंसा कर रहे हैं। इस प्रकार से व्यापक रूप से अहिंसा को समझते हुए अगर हम पालन करेंगे, तो सिर्फ अहिंसा नहीं, सत्य, अहिंसा, वणजोतु नौ संगरु, चोरी न करवी, सर्वधर्म समभाव, अस्पृश्यता, ये सब 11 महाव्रत एक दूसरे के साथ मिले जुले हुए हैं। अहिंसा का पालन करते हुए ये सब महाव्रत भी अपने आप उसमें समाविष्ट हो जाते हैं। इस प्रकार से अहिंसा को समझकर हम उसका पालन करेंगे। हर किसी को उसका पालन करने का प्रयत्न करना चाहिए, क्योंकि जैसे मैंने कहा है कि बी द चेंज यू वांट टू सी इन द वर्ल्ड। दुनिया में जो बदलाव आप चाहते हैं, उसकी शुरुआत अपने आप से करेंगे। खुद बदलेंगे तो लोग अपने आप जुड़ते जाएंगे और दुनिया अपने आप बदलेगी। जय हिंद।
Namaste. I am Amar Shah, trustee Share and Care Foundation. Mahatma Gandhi was a man who single-handedly guided the course of a nation and its people, leading them to the freedom from imperial domination. As a young boy, Gandhiji was influenced by the story of Harishchandra, who believed in the truth even when all his loved ones suffered greatly. Gandhiji wanted to be like him and led his life with the Satya, which means truth is God. Gandhiji believed healthy villages will make a strong nation. The Share and Care Foundation celebrates the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi by adopting a new program of Lok Mitra, which means Friends of Villagers. This program was established in 12 villages thus far. Let us hear from some friends on a strong villages and a strong nation.
नमस्ते। साबरमती आश्रम जो महात्मा गांधी की कर्मभूमि है और शेयर एंड केयर फाउंडेशन अमेरिका, हमारा रिश्ता दिलों का है और सालों का है। शेयर एंड केयर मैंने डोनेशन देने की वृत्ति वाला फाउंडेशन नहीं, और साबरमती आश्रम मैंने डोनेशन लेने की भावना वाली संस्था नहीं। ये तो समाज की भलाई के लिए कोऑपरेट करने वाला एक मिशन है। जहाँ कोऑपरेशन होता है वहाँ समाज के लिए कुछ को क्रिएशन होता है। और शेयर एंड केयर फाउंडेशन तो कोऑपरेशन का काम करता है, शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में, आरोग्य के क्षेत्र में, सफाई के क्षेत्र में, रोजगारी के क्षेत्र में, और लोगों को स्वावलंबी और स्वनिर्भर बनाने का काम करता है कि अपने पैरों पर समाज कैसे खड़ा हो, उसमें हम कैसे सहयोग करें। तो ये आर्थिक सहयोग एक सही मानों में वेल्थ है, और उनकी जो भावना है इसके पीछे की, वो सविशेष है।
There's a famous saying, educating a mind without educating a heart is a no education. And in Gandhi Ashram ecosystem, with the support of Share and Care Foundation, we able to help children of most vulnerable families, and that values and the ripples can goes to that, like one of the remote part of areas of harmony of head, heart and hands, what the Gandhi's actual vision for education and human being.
नमस्ते। हमारी जो बच्चियाँ गांव से आती है और हॉस्टल में आके रहती है, उसमें वो माल न्यूट्रिश होती है। उनका विकास, बौद्धिक और शारीरिक विकास के लिए उनको अच्छा न्यूट्रिशन और अच्छी शारीरिक क्षमता के लिए हमको एफर्ट्स जो हम लगाते हैं उसमें उनका विकास होता है। वो हॉस्टल में रहती है, इसीलिए उनको हम अच्छे से अच्छा खाना देके, न्यूट्रिशन वाला खाना देके उनको उनका बौद्धिक विकास और शारीरिक विकास हो सके, इसीलिए शेयर एंड केयर फाउंडेशन जो हमें फंड के माध्यम से हेल्प कर रहा है, उसके हम बहुत आभारी हैं।
Gandhiji focused tremendously on women empowerment and also on upliftment of the most marginalized communities. And to empower them, to empower for that matter any community, the easiest way is to empower the girls by imparting education to them. Ever since the foundation of the ashram, women education has been primary focus. And in today's context, girls who are coming from small villages at the educational institutions at ashram are provided with the holistic exposure of value-based education, sports, appropriate nutrition, science education, computer education, reflections, and imparting them the wholesome value-based education so that these girls go back to their communities where they are coming from to be the change agents. And towards that, many associations, institutions are providing their supports through multiple forms of capitals, whether it is financial, whether it is volunteering, whether it is intellectual. And in that, Share and Care is also contributing, and we are grateful for the same.
नमस्कार, जय जगत। भारत देश को अगर समृद्ध करना है तो सबसे पहले उसके दिल को पहचानना पड़ेगा। सो दिल है गांव। गांव के अंदर हमारे लोक मित्र द्वारा 7 विषयों पे काम किया जा रहा है। सबसे पहले है शिक्षा, दूसरा है आरोग्य, तीसरा है स्वच्छता, चौथा है जैविक खेती, पांचवा होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट, छठा पशुपालन और सातवां है खेल। इन 7 विषयों को लेकर हम गांव के अंदर बच्चों, बूढ़ों, महिला सबके साथ डेवलपमेंट का काम कर रहे हैं। और इसी दिल को संभालने के लिए हमारे शेयर एंड केयर की तरफ से हमें आर्थिक सहयोग मिल रहा है। तो शेयर एंड केयर को मैं तहे दिल से धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ कि उनके कारण आज इस गांव के अंदर समृद्ध हो रहा है। समृद्ध गांव, समृद्ध भारत। धन्यवाद।
शेयर एंड केयर के सभी साथियों को खूब खूब धन्यवाद, क्योंकि आपके दोस्ती की वजह से 12 गांव में एक नई चेतना खुली है। रिसोर्सेस की कमी नहीं है, मगर एक अच्छे साथी की ज़रूरत है। और आपके सहयोग के माध्यम से हमने लोक मित्र के रूप में ऐसा एक साथी वहाँ पे रखा है कि गांव के हर एक प्रश्न में वो लोगों के साथ रहता है, लोगों के साथ चलता भी है और लोगों को चलने के लिए तैयार भी करता है। तो आज हमारे 12 गांव में एक नई चेतना हुई है। आप सबको ये सब सहयोग और प्रेम के लिए धन्यवाद।
Greetings to all of you from Durban. We have lived through difficult times, interesting and contemplative times in the past few months. History may no doubt record this period as a period of turmoil throughout the world, similar perhaps to World War II, 75 years ago, when every country of the world was affected. In the aftermath, people saw the devastating effect of war and decided to form the United Nations. The preamble to the UN Charter reads as follows, and I quote, "We, the peoples of the United Nations, determined to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war, which twice in our lifetime has brought untold sorrow to mankind, and to reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person, in the equal rights of men and women, and of nations large and small." These and many others were the ideals that were articulated by the people of the world 75 years ago. Yet, what we see is more countries possess nuclear weapons, and the weapons which have been developed to be far more dangerous than the ones that were used 75 years ago. We see violence perpetrated by many wars in many countries and by people within their homes and in the community. Gandhiji's message of non-violence, even though embraced by a vast majority of people around the globe, is overshadowed by the devastating effects of violence by a few. How can society overcome this phenomenon? The present situation, where we are grappling with the effects of the coronavirus, is indicating to us clearly some of the basic steps we need to take. There is a clear need for a paradigm shift from profit, self-centered and mass production paradigm to an other-centered, generous, compassionate, and production for the masses paradigm. The minute such a focus change is accepted by every sector of our society, including our governments, changes will follow which will impact positively on the world. These are the lessons in Gandhiji's constructive program. I wish you success, and I hope that you will be the torchbearers for the future. Thank you.
Greetings to the Netraj Youth Cultural Organization on this Gandhi Jayanti. My greetings to all the people who are viewing this video. I am Tushar Gandhi, Managing Trustee and founder of the Mahatma Gandhi Foundation in India, and also the great-grandson of Ba and Bapu. It gives me immense pleasure to be able to send my message out to all of you as you celebrate the Gandhi Jayanti, the 151st birth anniversary of Bapu. It also is the culmination of the 150 years celebrations that have been going on globally. On this occasion, I would just like to say that those of us who believe in the Gandhian ideals must look for the qualities that Bapu cherished within ourselves before we can claim to be practitioners of Gandhi's ideology. We must be able to listen to our inner voice first. I do believe that the greatest disservice to Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi has been to brand him a Mahatma, because that gives a convenient excuse for us to put him on a pedestal and place him far beyond our reach and convince ourselves that whatever he did and achieved was because he was a Mahatma, and we cannot emulate him because we are mere mortals and weak human beings. The better worship of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi would be to understand that he was as frail a human being as all of us, but he accepted his weaknesses, atoned for his mistakes, and continuously improved himself till he reached a state where people considered him a Mahatma. If we are to understand that aspect of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, then we will be able to see a reflection of that person within us also. And then we will also be inspired by the Gandhi within us. Gandhi lives within all of us. We just have to discover him. I wish you all that on this Gandhi Jayanti, you make an effort to discover the Gandhi within you. Thank you very much.